Hi friends, this is Agnelo Rajesh here, Chairman for St. Angelo's VNCT Ventures. We are India's largest villa developers, developing villas at Thane, Chennai, Madurai, Coimbatore and Hyderabad. Advantage of buying villas with us is, we give you rental returns after you buy the villa and the maintenance is zero. You don't have to put money nor efforts to maintain the villa. Where progressive rental returns ensures that after you buy the villa, EMI or the loan repayment for the villa is offset by the rental returns that we generate. For more details, visit us on www.savvglobal.com.
Everybody idolizes a Ronaldo or a Messi or a Michael Jordan, but finally they are what they are because crowds come to see them. We've got a young population, they need places to go. So if in one place you can do so much more, then you've really got a great place to generate footfall. In India, when we did this project, RBI did not even have a section in the RBI guidelines saying sports infrastructure is infrastructure. We got it done.
Hi friends, this is Agnelo Rajesh here. I'm Chairman for St. Angelo's VNCT Ventures. And today we are at the 42nd episode of Inspiring Conversations. Today we have a very interesting guest with us, a very young and a dynamic person from a very different sector and from a unique personality background in terms of business as well as the individual. I would like to introduce you to Mr. Udit Sheth. Hi Udit.
Hi.
Lovely to have you on board.
Thank you for inviting me. Thanks to Network 18. Very exciting. I've been seeing a few of the clips of what you've been doing and inspiring, and it's really nice to hear from so many different people. So I hope I can do justice to your fantastic show.
I'm sure you have done a great deal of justice to the activity that you are involved with. So friends, Udit is into the business of sports. A healthy country is a wealthy country, and what Udit does is something which is very exciting and very interesting, and has created a map for India in the whole global space in the field of sports arena. Friends, he's built Transstadia, which is one of the most unique kind of a stadium infrastructure that the world has ever seen. It's at Ahmedabad in Gujarat, and how he's done this journey and what he has achieved is something that we would like to know from Udit. So Udit, you have been a sports enthusiast yourself.
Right.
And that's what motivated you to get into this business. Being a second generation entrepreneur, you're the first generation entrepreneur in what you have been done.
Right.
In the sports facility. So what prompted you to take this large leap? Because creating a stadium is a huge capital intensive activity. So what motivated you to take this plunge?
Well, really, nobody really realizes stadiums can be exciting. You go globally and everybody likes to watch the match. Everybody idolizes a Ronaldo or a Messi or a Michael Jordan. But finally, they are what they are because crowds come to see them. And to get crowds into a game or to get into a stadium is an art. You have to, at the end of the day, build something which is in the city. It has a great architecture, great ergonomics. The bums on the seats have to be comfortable, there has to be sanitation, there has to be great hospitality around it. And really, the way I see stadiums, I don't look at them as stadiums. I see them as city centers. I see them as a hub of activity, like a beehive. You have retail, you have entertainment, you have hospitality, you've got sports science, you've got academy. So something or the other has to keep going on. We look at a global average of stadiums which have a utilization of maybe 2% per annum. We are targeting 72% per annum. So that's the difference between how we build it with technology, retractable seating, convertible indoor-outdoor parts of the stadium, great parking. In India, we have a big demographic dividend. It can become a dynamite as well, but I think we've got a young population. They need places to go. Our urban areas are so cramped for place. So if in one place you can do so much more, then you've really got a great place to generate footfall. Parents my age and younger, both the people in the family are working. So where do the kids go? Are they going to play PlayStation the whole day, or are we going to get them into activities and experiential activities? So that's what we do.
Fantastic. So a stadium which can seat 40,000 people in the outdoors and can seat 4,000 people in the indoors is a humongously large project. It's sports infrastructure.
Yes.
And you embarking on such a large project, what kind of homework did you do before you embarked on this project? And how long did it take you for the homework?
So it's a 20,000 seater stadium, but nonetheless it's really large. We've built 1.4 million square feet in about 31 months.
Fantastic.
From the time we got the land to the time we got into commerce, it was 31 months. So we did a really quick job. And we benchmarked the best stadiums globally. We went to Tokyo Dome, we went to the Amsterdam Arena, we saw the O2 Arena, we saw Staples Center. We said, let's take the best and let's customize it for India. And then, of course, you've got to cut the cloth depending on the demographic that you are in. And that's what we did.
So your passion for sports and your exposure to international technology and international arenas helped you to do the marriage between technology and real estate infrastructure together.
That's right. I'm not just a sports enthusiast. I've played sport at a very high level. I've enjoyed playing football, basketball. I do a lot on fitness now. So I think for me, it was not just about getting a project up. It was to get it up with the right ergonomics. It's with the right planning. I mean, not a square foot of space is wasted in this arena.
And when you build this stadium, I'm sure you must have had your balance sheet before you build the stadium on what can be your assets and what can be your liabilities. How did you study that? Did you study that on your own, or did you have financial experts advising you on what can be the outcome of this bold investment?
So, I can't take credit for the stadium on my own. In fact, I've worked with the best, especially with my dad, who's a financial whiz. We spent a lot of time. I was all but 28 at the time when I was conceptualizing this, and it was the first in India, and we wanted to make sure that it was done right. We spent a lot of time. We must have made at least a dozen business plans, which we said, okay, can we do it? Can we not do this? Can we cut out this? Can we add this? The amount of area statements that I may have gone through is a whole plethora of them. And we must have gone through 3 professional outdoor agencies which have come and kind of done their own analysis, their own survey, their own feasibility studies. Then we had to make the project bankable. Imagine trying to make a stadium bankable. In India, when we did this project, RBI did not even have a section in the RBI guidelines saying sports infrastructure is infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
We got it done.
You got the status done.
I got that status done. So there's a lot of learning which I got in the process, but there's a lot of number crunching and a lot of iterations.
I'm sure there must have been a lot of mistakes that would have happened along the way, but how fast could you identify a mistake and rectify it as an entrepreneur?
So the advantage we had is because we did this project the first time. In India, government doesn't like to do things the first time. So it took a lot of time for the file to go through the cabinet and all of that. So we got a lot of time on our hands to review, to refine. But once we refined it and once we said go, we didn't change a thing. Because we're very clear that each time once you get into construction, and I think you do a lot of construction work,
Yes.
then
It's all pre-planning.
The cost goes out of
Absolutely.
hand. You change a wall, your whole planning goes. So imagine in a stadium, you can't be, if you look at the seating rows, if I add 1 inch more of concrete on a 20,000 capacity,
It changes
my
the game.
concrete
Yeah.
cost will go
up. So you took 31 months to build this stadium.
Yes.
How many months did you take to plan this?
Maybe about 24 months because we had the luxury. Some things don't happen at your pace, so we utilized that time better to sit down as a team. We had my entertainment team, we had my sports team, we had my marketing team, we had sound and audio consultants. I had the blessing of Star Sports who came in and did some
At the initial
broadcast
stages
planning.
itself, yes.
So all of that was done from the beginning so that we were able to get every angle sorted out.
So I'm sure this kind of a project and this scale of a project on a very global platform, I cannot say it basis of only Gujarat or India for that matter. It's on a global standards. Once upon a time it was a plan and today it is a reality. So how did you select your team and how did you monitor the daily going-ons at the location, at the venue?
Good question. This sector didn't have players in India, and the only person who was actually aligned with this was our technology provider from UK, Paul Fletcher.
Paul Fletcher.
Paul Fletcher and Stadi Arena, which is their company, and Miller Homes, which is the architect, they've done more than 2 million seats worth of stadium design and execution.
Fantastic.
That's huge. 2 million
That's
seats
huge.
worth of
That's huge.
work. So we used that experience, and then we got on the best in hospitality, the best in project management, and the advantage I have is I'm from the auto sector. We plan every rupee,
Precision engineering.
every paisa. We do our material planning well in advance.
Precision engineering.
So the amount of money we saved in procurement, the amount of time we saved in getting things in the supply chain properly is all the advantages we took from the auto sector. As far as the team, we had a project management consultant on the ground. We had a separate contractor. We had a separate quality team. And me, as the guy who's doing the project, I was on the ground maybe 3 days every week.
So when you started this project, you definitely had a capital expenditure on table.
Yes.
You had to cost save it or spend that much or go overboard by a certain percentage. So cost calculation, budgeting and monitoring it is comfortable. What are your steps for matching it with revenue generation, and how close are you to matching what you plan for in terms of revenues?
My revenues are a challenge because Ahmedabad is a very interesting market. When we got into commerce, at that time I had a politically motivated PIL against my project. So I couldn't go and market it because I didn't want to be on the wrong side of the court. Though we knew there was nothing that's going to happen, you can't piss a judge off, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
Especially in a democracy.
Absolutely. So we went, we started it, but we were very low on making a noise.
So has it delayed your revenue calculations by some certain period of time?
We are behind maybe by a year and a half maybe. I could have done it a lot faster. So I think a few things have slowed us down, but I think we are now the home of all the major leagues except IPL. Everything else is at the stadium. We are the host of all the entertainment. 75% of all the conferences and events, MICE events that happen in Gujarat happen at our venue.
Fantastic.
We are the preferred venue of all events by the government of Gujarat.
Fantastic.
So now people know us.
So, like I know that in a theatre, your least revenue is from the telecast of those movies.
Correct.
But your majority of the revenue comes from the shopping centers, the food courts and the food facilities around.
Right.
So, what percentage of revenue do you build in the stadium other than the sporting activities, but which happened because of the sporting activities?
See, sports does not make money.
Yes.
Very clearly.
Yes.
Sports is an aggregator.
It brings the footfalls.
It gets the footfall.
And how do you leverage those footfalls?
Yeah, so you got to sell them food, and Gujarat is a dry state.
Absolutely.
So people love eating. People love to get out and eat. People have 2 dinners in the night. They'll eat at 8, they'll eat at 11:30. So you've got to be able to cater to that taste. You've got to get the right kind of ambience out there. Maybe 15 to about 18% of our revenue is from F&B and banqueting, which is a very major part of.
Balance, you also create events other than sporting activities at the venue?
Of course, we've done a A.R. Rahman concert at a large scale. We've done stand-up comedy on a small scale. So, we've done the whole bunch of events. And I think events is very important because it also gets you the non-sport. In India today, the people who don't like sport or don't watch sport or live sport are a lot more than the people who like live sport. So you've got to get them into the facility. And they are also a big target for us. So you've got to balance sport out. It can't just be sport.
So when you have an infrastructure which has got an expenditure every moment, and time is a perishable commodity, so your expense gets incurred, but your revenue depends on the opportunity.
Yes.
So how do you make sure that you are maximizing your revenue so that you can offset the expenses? How many days in a year should such a project be occupied to break even and make decent profits?
Our target is to hit about 240, 260 days of utilization per year. And it has to be a heady mix of sport, non-sport activities. We have a club, we have club memberships, they drive a lot of revenue for us. And finally, the members are very important because, even if you have 10,000 families, that's 40,000 people. I'm a 20,000 seater stadium. Only they can buy all the tickets. So I have to create a fantastic environment over there which is catered to them, and we plan a full plethora of activities. It cannot just be sport.
So you are also focusing on events. How much do you believe in collaboration, and what kind of revenue can be brought in with the right collaborations?
I think
like a UFC happening in Ahmedabad.
I think collaborations are the key. I don't think we can do everything on our own.
Absolutely.
And we shouldn't.
Absolutely.
There is a lot of innovative thinking out there.
Absolutely.
From small events to large events. And I think it's important we welcome them. We tell them, please come, do your event here. I'll do an event for vice chancellors. I'll do an event for PTAs of schools. And I'll do it for big channels like yourself. So it's important that we get everyone in there.
Fantastic. Friends, you would like to know this, that Udit has become the first mover advantage guy in this beautiful country of India with such a large population, which can definitely play sports and become one of the best sporting countries in the world. But we need infrastructure like what he has built in Gujarat, Transstadia. And he intends to replicate and multiply these kind of facilities across the country. I would like to ask you, Udit, how are you going to leverage the kind of experience that you have got, because you have been there, you have done that, you have actually implemented and over delivered what you promised to the government of Gujarat and to the people of Gujarat and the people of the country. So how do you plan to leverage this knowledge and create multiple opportunities for your organization?
I think the sky is the limit, really. In a market like India, we are young, we are looking for new activities. I think sports is coming up in a big way. Entertainment still hasn't taken off because live entertainment doesn't have venues. What we're planning to do is, and what I am doing is, I'm in touch with about 6 to 8 state governments.
Okay.
We're talking for multiple city developments, and we don't have to go the mega infra model in all the cities.
Okay.
You can cut them, you can make them larger, and I've learned so much from here. I can possibly do this same project now at 2/3 the cost.
Fantastic.
In other locations, because
Fantastic.
we've learned where we can save
the money. And there are a lot of entrepreneurs who are actually scared of working with the governments. So the idea of taking land from the government and developing a private project on it and being exposed to activities like a PIL, which you have already faced in your journey, what is your advice to entrepreneurs about working with government organizations and government owned assets?
I think government is great at capex, and government is not the best at most efficient at opex, operating expenses. So one should work very closely with them. They are today the largest event organizers in the country.
Absolutely, unlimited
Right?
budgets.
They keep doing a lot of things.
Absolutely.
The tourism department, the industry department, I can keep going on. And therefore, to collaborate with them is important. They're also the biggest landlord in the country.
Absolutely.
Now, if you go to a private sector and try and take land from them, they'd rather build villas, they'd rather build houses, they'd rather build commercial infrastructure. So I think it's important, in my sector at least, to collaborate with government. It also helps us build very long-term relationships with them, because they will be coming here and doing events.
It also helps in tax exemptions, which is a great
It
saver.
can help in many exemptions.
Okay.
It depends from state to state, what budgets they have. They can give you a subsidy, they can give you power at concessional rates, they can
build the overall infrastructure around the project and facilities to reach it better.
Yeah, absolutely. When we did this project, and when we finished it, for example, the retail rentals which were there at X became 4X.
Fantastic.
The land value which was at X became 2.5X. So such projects actually not only develop sports and entertainment, they are actually urban placed projects. They develop city centers, they develop lifestyle, they develop communities. So even the government is interested that please come and help me. I know what I can do, but you know what you're doing the best. And there are so many defunct stadiums in India today.
So friends, apart from Transstadia and the sporting activities, Udit is also involved in the business which his father has started and which has got a great history to itself, Setco. And Udit spends 1/4 or rather more than 1/4 of his time even at Setco. And I would like to understand what is the new that you added in Setco, and if you can explain to the viewers what Setco is all about and what is the new that you added to the enterprise other than what your dad has done.
So I think Setco was a very well-oiled machine when I joined, and my dad's built the business from scratch. It's a leading clutch manufacturing company. We're a tier 1. We supply to all the truck manufacturers and tractor manufacturers in India. And it's a near monopoly business. It's a listed entity. So when I joined the business, I started as a trainee. I went through the ropes. I spent a lot of time in the market, in the transport nagars, because that's where you change the clutches. You meet the mechanics, you meet the garage owners, you understand their problems. So I've spent a lot of time in R&D, I've spent a lot of time in service of the business. And I think what I've brought to the business is a lot of process orientation. I believe I've been able to build in good HR practices, helped it grow, because I think without good people you can't grow any business or even plan any business. It's the same in Transstadia, it's the same in Setco. And I think one of the best learnings that I've had is to sit with my dad, for him to give me that freedom also, to build in that process. Not many entrepreneurs, first generation, like other people trampling in their areas.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
But for him to allow you to do that is a blessing in itself. And I got to work with so many people with so many years of experience.
So you have got experiences of 2 enterprises. One is the one which is a family business.
Yeah.
The second one is the one that you built.
Yeah.
It is said that your success depends on the quality of people you have.
Correct.
And the quality of people that you have, when their quality becomes extraordinarily better, it becomes difficult to retain them. So what has been your HR policy? How do you recruit? How do you train? How do you retrain? And how do you retain talent?
when we are out there, first of all, we only recruit if we can't find a roadmap for an internal resource to grow.
Okay.
And I think it's very important, and many organizations in the speed of growing sometimes compromise that time that is required for the management to spend time with other management to help them grow. And I think there's got to be a quid pro quo. I think the people who you work with also have to show that energy, that enthusiasm, that fire in their belly to want to actually take up more. In Setco, for example, we had the legacy team, and then we had a lot of new team that was coming in. For us, it was important to also train them. We put them through all the best training programs and a lot of internal training. So not only did I get involved, but we got our board directors involved, we got our advisors involved in 1 day, half day, 2 hour, 3 hour training programs that are required. And I think one of the important things is that you spend a lot of money on training. You know, there's an important saying. There was a conversation between a CEO and a CFO. The CEO wanted to spend a large amount of money on training people, and the CFO asked a question. What if the person leaves? But the CEO then turned around and said, but what if we don't train him and he stays?
That's more dangerous.
That's more dangerous. So
Absolutely.
you've got to invest on training. You've got to invest on development of people. And I think organizational building would take up about 70% of anyone's time. And if you don't give that time, you're not doing justice to your people.
Fantastic. So what type of a leader are you, Udit?
I am a participative leader. If you ask me if I have a team of people who come into the meeting, I like to keep meetings short, but I like to keep them with a small group. But I'd like to listen to people. I want to know what they have to bring to the table, how they can contribute, what their aspirations are. Because we've recruited people for their intelligence and not to take instructions and to listen to a monologue. There has to be a dialogue. And that's my way of working. I take decisions, but I'd like people to really participate and feed me. I don't know everything. They know a lot more than I do.
So like Dhirubhai Ambani believed in hiring people smarter than him but under his control. So you believe in the same philosophy, I guess.
He is far smarter, and look what he's built, including this place. So, I mean, there is
How do you
no
monitor
comparison.
the productivity of your team?
We have very clear KRAs and KPIs that we have. These are very common words used, but we work very closely with our team members to set goals.
Is there anything unique in your review mechanism?
It's not unique, but it's one thing that we are very clear about, that we don't rate people on how they are to me or how they look or how they come across. It's more on what's performed, and I think that's important.
Fantastic, fantastic. Business is a very interesting journey, and it's all about decision making. Every moment of breathing life, you have to keep taking decisions. Some decisions which impact you positively, some decisions which might slow you down in your goal sets and your journey. So how good are you at decision making, and what precautions do you take before you take a decision?
I think the philosophy I work with is to not take a decision is the worst decision. I think you got to come to
Absolutely.
a conclusion quickly. Of course, you have to spend a lot of time data mining. You've got to ask a lot of questions. You've got to look at things from different perspectives.
Do you calculate consequences of a decision in advance?
I think you have to. But you don't get it right each time. I mean, you'll get half of them wrong.
You
also.
believe in course correcting?
Yes, very much so.
Do you put it to a sounding board?
We have a very clear mandate in the company. If we are going to do a new project, unless it goes through 4 filters of review, we won't go ahead. So there are different people who come in at different review levels, and it has to cut through all those 4 layers before it actually has a go ahead.
Fantastic. So friends, India is developing as a country, fast developing as a country, thanks to very successful, focused and confident entrepreneurs like Udit, whom you have just heard. And before you could conclude the session, I would like to ask you, Udit, what is entrepreneurship according to you?
Entrepreneurship is to have a mind which is open to learning new things.
Okay.
I think as an entrepreneur, you may have an idea, but I can tell you from day 1 when you go on to planning to the day 10 when you've gone into commerce, that idea has changed. The core idea may be the same, but the things that you thought will make it get there, they all change. So as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to course correct, learn, and let other people come into your business and add value and add things which you are not able to foresee.
Fantastic. What's your learning curve?
How do I answer that? What's my learning curve? I read a lot, and I expect people around me to read a lot. And I think learning is an everyday process. The faster you can take it up, the better it is for you, I think. That's the most important thing.
And for the world to know, what's your next 5 years goal?
I would like to see at least a couple of more facilities up and running in India, in different parts of the country. I'd want to have large format entertainment come into India. I'd love to see the Fit India campaign, which I'm a committee member of with the Government of India, become a huge success, because I think India's talent funnel is huge. I think we need to make the funnel larger.
And channelize it.
And the Fit India movement, which the PM launched about a couple of weeks ago, is all about that.
Fantastic.
So as Transstadia, we want to build city centers, but we want to also build the backbone of sport.
Fantastic. So that was Udit Sheth for you. Thank you, Udit.
Thank you
That was
very
an
much.
awesome, inspiring conversation. I'm sure a lot of people will be inspired. The size of your goal doesn't matter. If you're confident and if you're knowledgeable about what you want to do, the world is there to provide you with the resources. I wish you all the best, Udit.
Thank you so much.
And keep being inspired. Thank you.
St. Angelo's VNCT Ventures is one of the largest villa developers in India. Brings to you the White Villas Kasara, located in Kasara, which is declared as no chemical zone and green zone. 3 BHK wonderful villa comes with a power backup facility and RO water purification facility enabling clean water. Private garden and parking facility are also provided and comes with a swimming pool, cricket pitch and futsal pitch along with large walking area. Designer Villas comes with land ownership, 360-degree lush green view, very near from Mumbai and Thane, 1.2 kilometers away from Kasara local railway station, adjoining to Mumbai-Nasik highway. Assured rentals with zero maintenance. High capital appreciation expected in coming years on this road. 20 feet double height living room. World-class materials with best amenities. The work of the White Villas Kasara is in full swing and possession with all amenities is expected by 2020. So grab the opportunity and do your villa booking today. Call us on 9011223344 or visit us on www.savvglobal.com.